Hi, in this week's video, I want to talk about the power of framing and foreground to create an interesting, dynamic composition in your photos. Look, here's what I know. We've all had that experience where we are in some amazing place. We're looking at an epic vista or a cityscape, or there's all kinds of things, big, awesome, breathtaking stuff. And so we pull out our camera and we take pictures and we look at them and they are just plain. Yeah, where they don't inspire. When we were there, we could feel the majesty of the moment. And so I think I can help you with that. Hi, my name is Gary Mays, and I created the PhotoApprentice channel as a mechanism to share one micro skill at a time so that you might build up your capacity, your unconscious competence, or at the very least, you have the ability to take pictures that just don't suck. If you watch to the end of this video, I'm going to share my personal little secret. It's a lazy man's hack for how to accomplish the dynamic of a fascinating foreground or framing object in your compositions. There are just places all over the world that are wild, and when you're there, you want to share those. You want to capture the memories. And yet, when we go to share those with other people, the pictures just fall flat. The solution to that dilemma is one of the things that can be solved by using the composition techniques of foreground and framing. Here's what I mean by those. Foreground is when you look for any kind of an interesting object or feature in the early foreground, literally, of your picture. It's what you see at the bottom of the frame. It's the first thing you see. It can be as simple as some tall grasses or an interesting plant or some rocks or a little landscape feature or a creek or some water or an old abandoned piece of equipment, or it's almost anything works. And what that does is it adds perspective to the depth and the majesty of the big thing that you wanted to capture in that photo. Now, one of the things you have to do is when you're about to take a picture, double check and look in your camera and say, do I see anything there in the foreground? And if you don't, pull back and then look around. And maybe what you need to do is use those high-tech photographic tools called feet. Walk a little bit to the right or walk a little bit to the left, change your angle just a little bit one way or another, and all of a sudden you find something that you can use, right? Now, framing does the same kind of effect. It adds perspective on the size and the scope and the distance of the big thing that you're looking at. But it also does something else for the viewer's eye. Framing literally creates boundaries on the photo that tell the viewer to look here. It prevents the eye of the viewer from wandering around, from meandering off the page, so to speak. And it doesn't have to be both sides of a picture. It could be right or left or top, bottom. It doesn't have to be the same size object. Sometimes you have a big tree here and a rock over there. You have a branch hanging across up here. You be creative. But if you look for something that creates a little bit of a frame to the picture, it makes the entire picture pop. Now, in my last video, I showed you this picture of the Grand Canyon. And what happens is that those two trees on the either side of that picture form a frame that directs your eye to the center of the picture where that one piece of rock formation is being lit up by the sun. Let me show you some other pieces. These are all the same subject. It's Cathedral Rock in Sedona, Arizona, but the pictures are taken from different locations. And I just want you to see that in every one, I found some different feature to create a foreground or a framework for the ultimate photo. Let's get to your assignment for the week. Here's your assignment. It's really simple. I'd like for you to take a walk around your neighborhood with your camera and simply ask yourself, where can I find an interesting foreground? And take a picture that looks at a foreground in front of something that's equally interesting in the background. Look for things that would create a framework and take a picture using something from your neighborhood to frame something else in the photo. Just simply experiment with both ideas, with the principles of composition called foreground and called framing, and see what you come up with. I think you'll be surprised, and you're going to start to see your neighborhood in a new light. In fact, you're going to start to develop what I would call a photographer's eye. You know how this goes? If you like this video, subscribe, hit that button right now. And while you're at it, why don't you share a link to this video with somebody else you know who would love to take pictures that don't suck. Now, I promised one secret. If you watch to the end, I would give you my little lazy man's hack for how to find a foreground or framing object in almost any scenario, and it's this. Look for a tree and an overhanging branch and step down just a little bit and take your picture from underneath the tree. So that overhanging branch cuts across the top edge or one of the corners of your photo. It's really easy, and I feel like a photographic cheapskate for doing it. But you know what? It works. So go out there and practice this week. Walk your neighborhood. See what you can create with foreground and framing. And next week, I'll be back with another video introducing what I call the yellow brick road. It's the pathway to a fascinating photo. Hope to see you then.